Okay, all. My name is Patrice. I am a singer, songwriter, and vocal coach who has been teaching for over 10 years. And there are certain things that I run into that you want to be doing as a vocalist and other things you do not. And that is my sole mission here, is to help you all and guide you for the things that you want to do in order to be the best vocalist you can be. So today I want to talk to you all about the lower notes. There has been some requests for that there. There can be a lot of attention on hitting the higher notes, and I totally get it, and you can check out other videos on that. But today I want to address for you all, how do we hit the lower notes? So let's begin. Okay, all, let's talk about these lower notes here. Again, there can be a lot of attention on higher notes and what needs to happen for them, because they tend to be pivotal moments of the song that, you know, where the song builds and all of a sudden you get this great power note, and it can almost be what could be termed the selling point of a song. But I would argue that a lot of times too, what can be super beautiful in a song is those lower parts, and they can be either those brighter lower parts there, looking out, right? Or a sultry lower, I'm into you, right? That can really help to sell the song as well. And let's just face the facts. We wouldn't have a song if we didn't have the lower, right? A lot of times a song can start with the lower, and what actually helps those higher notes is the lower note. So sometimes you can forget the other people behind the curtain that make things happen, right? It's just like an analogy there, but they are crucial. Say, for example, the sound people in a show, right? If you didn't have the sound people, really great sound people, the vocalist wouldn't shine. So therefore, it's important to acknowledge them. Or maybe the people that make the lights happen, right? Without that lighting effect, it maybe wouldn't, the show wouldn't be as dynamic or glow as much. So sometimes we can forget the other things that help to aid the bigger pieces of the show, like in our songs, the higher notes, but they're equally valid and we equally want to take care of them there. So with the lower notes, some tips that I would give, right? Because if you are feeling like you are falling behind or under the note, I would first check the shape. Sometimes people think the lower notes and they're not opening enough, so they'll kind of do a may, 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 may. It's almost like afraid to open up, but I feel like it's a one finger rule when it comes to some of the lower stuff. May, 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 may. You still want to make sure you're opening up. We have a lot of attention on the higher notes and making sure we do that. So tip number one would be to make sure that you are at least one finger wide. So therefore you can actually let the sound out. Tip number two would be to focus on sending that energy and that sound forward to the front part of the mouth. What you can also think about with that, in order to help it really come forward, think about in front of your teeth, your lips, think about when you talk, that sound being projected forward, is maintaining a C shape internally. I've talked about this in other videos where, you know, even with the higher notes, that's super crucial, right? Lower, higher, it doesn't matter. You want to maintain a C shape. And by that, I mean keeping the tongue forward in a nice open space here. So as that ear comes through, it can get to its destination. Because if I'm not open enough, kind of think about like a V. May, 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 may. Ear open a little bit there. May, 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 may. Right, it can almost put a little bit more focus, or the sound can drift into the throat there. Where if I open up a bit more, may, 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 may. May, 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 may. Tongue forward, opening up, thinking forward. That can help the projection to the front. That leads me to tip number three, and that is when it comes to the lower notes there, sometimes when it gets really low, I want to maintain all those good technical things I had mentioned, but This should be, hopefully it's a given. If you do not know how to do diaphragmatic breathing, then please check out another video I have on this channel or in the link above so that you can master that. It is super important because without that, a lot of these things will be out of place. So make sure you are using diaphragmatic breathing, but assuming that's happening, you're keeping in the C shape, you know, you're thinking of that one finger rule for those lower notes there. You could also give a little bounce just as much as we want to push on the higher notes to help give more energy behind it. Sometimes if that note is falling back into the throat on a lower note, you can make sure, again, good breathing, opening up, tongue forward, and a little extra push. I may. That can help and kind of giving it, it's almost like, see, when you give someone like a push up the hill, it could help them get forward. It's like we're going to see if we can get that sound forward. But also keep in mind, there is the reality of where our range is at. So if you are looking at just getting better placement, which is where the sound is going for the lower notes, definitely use the tips that I just talked about. If you are talking about expanding your lower range, then it's important to first identify what is the most comfortable lower note. So when I look at it there, say it's here. And then you start to go here and it's a little wobbly. So I'd start by first attacking this half step down from that note and starting to really get comfortable with that. Because if you're trying to go to a note here, and that's not happening, but you want this note for some reason, or you want to be able to hit these lower notes here, you want to start in half step increments, because the chances of you hitting this full step down, if you can't hit the half step, are very unlikely. So I would start in half step increments and start to nurture those notes that are a little wobbly. And sometimes it's just our confidence behind them by doing them over and over, and gaining that confidence that helps us to continue to hit that note and develop that note. And so that's a part of it there. And so that's how I would approach those. I would do half step increments down, start to work on your confidence with them. If you are going throaty or they're really hurting, back away from them. That's just a sign that some technique is out. And so you want to check in with that there. And then work the half steps and keep moving from there. And lastly, what I want to leave you with is don't be afraid to change keys. Right? I'm a huge advocate of that. Most audiences and even major artists go watch their live performances. They don't always sing things in the same key. And it could be just that they want to save their energy or their voice feels better when it comes to live performance. It's a half step to a full step lower there. And so that's on the major artists. And for your own self, just think about it this way. An audience is seeing you for the first time. They're not going to know necessarily what notes the original song was in. They're just going to know what they hear and what sounds best. And even if they know the original notes and you're sounding off, I guarantee they'd probably rather hear you change that key so that it fits your voice, so therefore you sound your best. So as always, if you are looking to improve upon things, please comment below. Let me know what you need help with. That's how this video developed, is someone said, hey, can you talk about the lower range? So please be sure to like, subscribe, comment. That really does help me to be able to help you. I can see like, hey, this is helping people. And also be sure I have an incredible freebie below. It is part 1 of my vocal program, Learn to Sing Like the Pros, and it is completely free. I have incredible technical things that you need to have happening. So sign up below, or if you're coming from another place, in the link above, and be sure to get the right technical things that are going to make you the best vocalist you possibly can be. All right, all. I want to see you hitting those notes there. Clear, consistent. Onward we go.